Hello students, welcome to our history class. I am Miss Annie Itur and today we are going to learn chapter number 11, Ancient India and the World. So today in this chapter we are going to learn India and the countries of the West and India and other countries in Asia. So now let's get started with the lesson. India and the countries of the West. People of Harappan civilization had developed trade relation with the countries of the West. So when we were studying Harappan civilization, that time we studied that Harappan people were going far away to do trade and their trade was spread to many countries. So they were building relations with the countries of the West. Ever since then, India has had economic and cultural exchange with the outside world. So when one person goes to another place, he alone doesn't go. He takes with him his culture and tradition. So the same way Harappan civilization culture and tradition also spread to many countries in the form of trade. Buddhism had spread to Afghanistan and to many countries of Central Asia. Basically, Buddhism was first spread in Nepal, then in India. After that, it spread to Afghanistan and many countries of Central Asia. During the period of Iranian Empire, India's contact with the Western world increased. So when Iranian emperor came in India, that time those people came from West world. Because of that, contact with Western world increased. The Greek historians of that period grew more curious about India. Their writings introduced India to the Western world. So in the Greek historians' writing, many of the things of India were mentioned in that. And because of this, information regarding India spread to many countries and also to the Western world. The routes which were later used by Alexander were open for trade between India and the countries of the West. If you know that Alexander had invaded India, that time Alexander had used some routes. So further people used that same routes for trading between India and the countries of the West. Under the influence of Greek art of sculpture, a new form of art emerged in India during the Kushana period. So because of this art and sculpture, one school had started, which was Gandhara School of Art. So Gandhara was basically a place, and on that place, one school was built that was named as Gandhara School of Art. In the Gandhara Art School, images of Gautam Buddha were mainly carved. As those images were mostly found in the Gandhara region of Afghanistan, the style is called the Gandhara style. The facial features of this statue made in this style are similar to those of the Greek people. The earlier coins that were minted in India were also like Greek coins. So if you see the image, the same facial feature of the statue was similar to the Greek people. And first, when the coins were minted in India, they were like Greek coins. And this we have learned that when they were minting coins, so at the one side they were minting their deity picture and on other side of their king and their name on the coins. So this tradition of minting coin was taken from Greek people. Around the 1st or 2nd century CE, trade between India and Rome flourished. The ports in South India also had a large share in this trade. So whatever trade was exported and imported to countries, it was done mainly by the sea route. So the port of South India and many other were having a large share. Some articles made of bronze were found in the excavation at Kolhapur. The excavation at Arakamendu in Tamil Nadu have also brought to light many articles made in Rome. So in Tamil Nadu, there is one place known as Arakamendu. So there, whatever excavations were there, they have found things like articles which were made in Rome. Both those places were important centers of trade between India and Rome. So the two places which were Kolhapur and Tamil Nadu were the important centers of trade in India, and that was between India and Rome. Many such trade centers are mentioned in the literature of those times. Alexandria was an important port in Egypt. The Arab merchants carried Indian goods up to Alexandria. From there, they were sent to the countries in Europe. So, Arab merchants were transporting Indian goods till Alexandria, and from there, they were sending to countries of Europe. Beside Indian goods, the Arabs also conveyed Indian philosophy and science to Europe. When Arab people were taking things from India to Egypt, they were not only taking the articles but they were also taking Indian philosophy and science to Europe. The concept of zero is one of the Indians' major contribution to the world. So we already know that invention of zero who has done, and that was Aryabhatta, who was the scientist of India. And from him people from other countries got knowledge about it. It was the Arabs who introduced this Indian concept to Europe. So the concept of zero and the of number system, it was introduced by Arab to Europe. India and other countries in Asia. Many countries in Asia were greatly influenced by the Indian culture of those times. Now, with India and many countries, relations were good, and this is because Indian culture was developed those times. Sri Lanka. King Ashoka had sent his son Mahindra and daughter Sanghamitra to Sri Lanka to spread Buddhism. So, in the last previous chapter, we have already learned that Ashoka had sent his own daughter Sanghamitra and son Mahindra to spread Buddhism to Sri Lanka. Their names are mentioned in the Buddhist text Mahavamsa written in Sri Lanka. So the names of Mahindra and Sanghamitra were mentioned in Mahavamsa, and Mahavamsa is a book which is related to Buddhism, and it was written in Sri Lankan language. Sanghamitra carried a branch of Bodhi tree with her. The Sri Lankan tradition believes that the Bodhi tree at Anuradhapur in Sri Lanka has grown from the same branch. So the tree, which is the Bodhi tree, that was known as a sacred tree in Sri Lanka. There was a great demand in Indian for Sri Lankan pearls and other precious stones. In the 5th century CE, King Kashyap had dug out at a place called Sigeria. So in the 5th century CE, there was one king known as Kashyap, and he had dug caves, and that caves was dug at a place called Sigeria. The wall paintings in those caves bear a resemblance to the paintings in the Ajanta caves. So the painting which were found in Ajanta Ellora caves, like that caves were also found in Sigeria cave. And on this basis they found that the civilization in Ajanta and Sigeria can be similar. The Sri Lankan Buddhist work Dipavamsha and Mahavamsha provide information about the close relations between India and Sri Lanka. So in Sri Lanka, there were some Buddhist work. You can see Buddhism books, and they were Dipavamsha and Mahavamsha. By reading this, we get to know that there was a close relations between India and Sri Lanka, and Dipavamsha and Mahavamsha were written in Pali language. China and other countries. Right from the ancient times, India and China had established trade and cultural relations. So, India, ancient time, trade relation between India and China was more, and they were doing trade together. Also, they were having cultural relations, means they were following each other culture. Emperor Harshavardhan had even sent an ambassador to the Chinese court. Chinese silk was known as China sugar and was in great demand in India. Now, China was the first country to produce silk, and Chinese silk was in great demand in India as well as in other countries. And Chinese people had given name for silk called as China sugar. Merchants in ancient India supplied Chinese silk to Western countries. The land route by which the Silk Route was carried on was called the Silk Route. So Silk Route business was increased more because first silk was coming to India from China. Then it was transported to other countries. Sometimes it was directly transported from China to other countries. So the land route from where silk was transported was called as Silk Route. Some ancient places in India were connected to this route. Nalasopara near Mumbai in Maharashtra was one such place. The Chinese Buddhist bhikkhun Fa Hin and Yongchong also came to India through this Silk Route. In the 1st century CE, the Ming Emperor of China invited the Buddhist bhikkhuns Dharamrakshaka and Kashyap Matanga to China. So in the 1st century Common Era, there was a Chinese emperor known as Zhou, and Ming was the dynasty of China. So Zhou had called some Chinese bhikkhun known as Dharamrakshaka and Kashyap Mantaka to China. So what these two bhikkhun did, whatever Indian Buddhist texts were there, they translated them into Chinese language, and they spread more knowledge about Buddhism. This gave impetus to the spread of Buddhism in China. Later on, Buddhism also reached Japan, Korea, and Vietnam. Countries in Southeast Asia. The ancient people of Funan in Cambodia was established in the 1st century CE. Evidence is available from Chinese tradition that an Indian named Kundania established it. So there was one kingdom at Funan which was in Cambodia, and this was established by Kundania, and Kundania was an Indian, and he went to Cambodia and established Funan kingdom, and this was established in 1st century CE. People of Funan know the Sanskrit language. A stone inscription of that period is still in existence. Now, how people came to know that people of Funan know Sanskrit? So, one stone inscription was found. From that, we came to know that they know Sanskrit. In many other countries of Southeast Asia, too, small kingdoms established by people of Indian origin had emerged. So, in Southeast Asia, there were small kingdoms, and they were established by whom? They were established by our Indian people. Those kingdoms helped to spread Indian culture in Southeast Asia. Indian culture had a deep impact on the art and cultural life of Southeast Asia. Dance dramas based on stories from the two Indian epics Ramayana and Mahabharata are popular in Indonesia even today. Now, Indonesia is also a Southeast country. There, till now, dance dramas are done, which are based on stories of Indian epics, that is Ramayana and Mahabharata. By this, we came to know that Indian culture was flourished among all these countries. This influence continues to increase over the year. In the ancient period, the Buddhist religion spread to Myanmar, Thailand, Indonesia, etc. In the later year, temple of Lord Shiva and Vishnu were also built there. So from here we come to know about how the Indian history was. We have revised about that. So in the next year we shall study the history of India from the 9th century CE to the 18th century CE. The history of this period was known as a medieval history. So that we will be learning in the next year. So that's all for today. I stop here with my explanation. Now let us solve the question answers which are on page number 57. A first question, fill in the blanks. First, Indian had trade relations with countries of the West from the time of dash. The answer is Harappan civilization. Second, the dash silk cloth produced in China was in great demand in India. Answer is China Shuka. Second question, name the following. First, place where articles made in Rome were found. Answer is Kolhapur in Maharashtra and Arekamindu in Tamil Nadu. Second, a new style of art that emerged during Kushana period in India. Answer is Gandhara School of Art. Third, the language of the books Mahavamsha and Deepavamsha. Answer is Pali. Fourth, a country to which Buddhism had spread in ancient India. Answer is Sri Lanka. Now, question number 3, give reason. First, Indian culture had an impact on Southeast Asia. Answer, many people from India traveled to Southeast Asian countries like Myanmar, Cambodia, Thailand, Indonesia either for the purpose of trade or to propagate religion. The Indians carried with them Indian philosophy, manners, and ideas of religion as also Indian culture. Kundanya had established the Kingdom of Funan in Cambodia. Many small states ruled by the Indians emerged in this region. Second, the spread of Buddhism in China became easier. Answer, the Ming Emperor of China visited the Buddhist bhikkhun Dharmarakshaka and Kashyap Mantaka to China as he was interested in Buddhism. Those bhikkhun translated many Buddhist works into Chinese. The Emperor of China embraced Buddhism. As this, the spread of Buddhism became easier in China. Now, question number 4. Write short note on first, the Gandhara School of Art. Answer, after the invention of India by the Greek king Alexander, communication between India and Greece increased. Greek sculpture influenced Indian sculpture. This gave rise to a new style of sculpture which came to be known as Gandhara School of Art. Second, the Silk Route. Answer, The ancient territorial trade route from China to Central Asia passed through India. The Indian traders worked as agents in the trade between China and the Western countries. Silk was in great demand in Western countries. This trade route passing through Hindu, Hindu Kush mountain range is described as the Silk Route. So students, I stop here. I hope you have understood the entire lesson and have got knowledge from the lesson, and I hope you have understood the question answers. You can write down all these question answers into your notebook. Thank you students. Remain safe and God bless you.